All right, today we are diving into the roadmap for mastering automation. We're going to look at how you can learn this stuff the right way, right from the very beginning, so you can build systems that actually truly transform how you work. I mean, come on, isn't this the dream? To build systems that don't just save you a little bit of time here and there, but that are actually working for you while you sleep, while you're on vacation, even when you're just offline. That is the real promise of automation, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack. But before we can get to that dream state, we have to talk about the starting line. Because, there's this one huge, super common mistake that trips up almost everyone who's new to this. And seriously, avoiding this one thing is the key to getting on the right track from day one. So let's put this thing right under the microscope. What is this critical mistake that stops so many people dead in their tracks? Yep, this is it. The biggest mistake is jumping straight to the fancy, advanced AI stuff without ever learning the basics. I get it. The allure of AI is so powerful, and it's really tempting to just skip to the end. But that's kind of like trying to compose a symphony when you haven't even learned your musical scales yet. You're missing the entire foundation that makes everything else possible. See, the right way to do this is to build up in layers. First, you've got to start with standard workflows. Think of these as your simple, predictable, rule-based processes. They're the bedrock. Then, once you've got that down, you can add a little sprinkle of AI to help out, for things like sorting emails or personalizing some content. It's only after you've mastered those first two layers that you're really ready to build those powerful, autonomous AI agents.
Okay, so to actually build these layers, you can't just drag and drop a few boxes around. You really need to learn the native language of all these different systems you're trying to connect.
And that language is basically made up of these three things. They're like the grammar of automation. You've got JSON, which is just how you structure your data. Then there are APIs, which are the messengers that let all your different tools talk to each other. And finally, webhooks. They're the triggers that kick off your automations in real time. Seriously, once you get these three down, you can connect pretty much anything to anything else. It's a superpower. So, you've learned language. That's awesome. But here's the thing. Even the most powerful tools are useless without the right strategy. This next part is all about shifting your mindset and learning to think like an engineer. And this might be the single most valuable piece of advice in this entire explainer. The temptation is always to just jump straight into your favorite tool and start clicking around. You have to resist that urge. A messy plan is going to give you a messy, fragile system. Just take 5 minutes, seriously, 5 minutes, to map out the process on paper first. Ask yourself, who does what? When does it happen? That simple little flowchart will save you hours, maybe even days of frustration down the road. This engineering mindset is absolutely critical when you start working with AI. Look, a language model knows a ton about the world in general, but it knows zero, absolutely nothing about your business. So your real job isn't just about writing a clever prompt. It's about being a context engineer. You have to be the one who feeds the AI the specific data, the little cheat sheets it needs to make smart decisions for you. So, for example, don't just ask it to write a sales email. No. Give it the customer's entire purchase history and your latest product specs. That's the context that turns a generic, useless response into a perfect one. Okay, so you've got the technical skills, you've got the right mindset. Now, where do you point all this power for the biggest possible impact? Because let's be real for a second. Just because you can automate something doesn't mean you should. The whole game is about focusing on the projects that deliver a massive return on your investment of time and energy. And this right here, this is your golden checklist. Your perfect automation target is a task that checks all 4 of these boxes. First, it's got to be repetitive. Second, it's super time-consuming. Third, it's a process where tiny little human mistakes can cause big problems. And finally, and this is crucial, it has to be scalable. The solution you build needs to be able to handle more work as the business grows. If you find a project that hits all 4 of these, that's a guaranteed home run. All right, now for a quick but really important warning about how you learn all of this. It is so easy to fall into the trap of just watching video after video, reading blog post after blog post. You feel productive, but you're not actually building anything. We've all been there. It's called tutorial hell. Look, just watching stuff is not mastery. The only way to get really, truly good at this, the kind of good where you just see the patterns and know how to solve problems, is by getting your hands dirty. You have to build your own stuff. You have to watch it break, which it will, and then you have to be the one to figure out how to fix it. That cycle, build, break, fix, repeat, that is where real skill is forged. Okay, we're on to our final section, and this one is so important. This is all about making sure your hard work actually matters to the people who make decisions. The ones who sign the checks. You've built this amazing, efficient system. Now, how do you convince them it's valuable? You have to think of yourself as a translator. On the left, that's your world. JSON, APIs, complex workflows, all the technical details. But your boss or your client, they live on the right. They don't care about your clever nodes. They care about the outcome. They aren't buying your technology. They are buying what it does for them, the time it saves, the money it makes, the mistakes it prevents. So your job is to be that translator. You have to stop explaining the technical how and start proving the business so what. And you do that with data. Don't just say, I built a workflow. Say, this automation saves our sales team 20 hours every single week. Don't say, I connected two systems. Say, this system has slashed our data entry errors by 95%. You have to frame everything in the language of business result. And that right there is the roadmap. We've covered the whole path from building the right foundation all the way up to proving the business case. So really, the only question left is the one on your screen right now. Thinking back to those 4 pillars, repetitive, time-consuming, error-prone, and scalable, what is the first high-value process that you are going to automate?